Part 1. Lily Brennan carried a bucket of cleaning supplies down the long hallway of the royal palace. Her shoes squeaked against the polished stone floor. She had arrived on Drakenheim 3 weeks ago as part of the human diplomatic staff. Most humans worked in offices or laboratories, but Lily preferred cleaning. It gave her time to think and observe. Today was different. Her supervisor had assigned her to the medical wing, more specifically, to the room where Prince Wreath lived. The Dragon Prince had been paralyzed for 6 months. A weapon from a rival kingdom had poisoned his nervous system. The toxin left him unable to move anything below his neck. Lily had heard stories about him. The other human workers said he was angry and mean. Dragon servants refused to stay in his room longer than necessary. Even his own mother, Queen Soria, visited less often now. Everyone seemed afraid of his temper. She pushed open the heavy door to his chamber. Sunlight streamed through tall windows. The room was massive, built for someone much larger than a human. In the center sat an enormous bed. On it lay Prince Wreath. He was bigger than any creature Lily had ever seen. His scales were deep blue with silver edges. His wings, now useless, were folded against his sides. His head rested on thick pillows. His eyes were closed. Lily set down her bucket quietly. She pulled out a cloth and started dusting the windowsill. The cloth slipped from her hand and hit the floor with a soft thud. "Who is there?" The voice was deep and harsh. Lily picked up the cloth. "My name is Lily. I am here to clean your room." "Another human." He sounded tired. "I cannot even see you. I cannot turn my head." Lily walked around the bed until she stood where he could see her. She was small compared to him. Her brown hair was tied back in a simple ponytail. She wore the standard gray uniform of palace staff. "Can you see me now?" she asked. His golden eyes focused on her. They were filled with pain and anger. "Yes, you may clean. Be quick about it." Lily did not move. "Would you like me to adjust your position first? You have been lying the same way for a while." He stared at her. "What?" "Your left wing is twisted under you. It must hurt. I can try to move it if you want." No one had asked him what he wanted in months. They just did things to him or around him. He swallowed. "You cannot move my wing. It is too heavy for a human." "I can try." Lily walked to the side of the bed. She studied the wing carefully. It was indeed heavy, but she had moved furniture before. She placed both hands under the wing and lifted slowly. The wing shifted slightly. She adjusted it so it lay flat. "Better?" she asked. Wreath said nothing for a moment. The pressure on his back had eased. "Yes, better." Lily smiled. "Good. Would you like the window open? Fresh air might help." "Do what you want." His voice was rough but less harsh. She opened the window. A cool breeze entered the room. She noticed scales near his shoulders looked dry and cracked. "Your scales need moisture. Do you have oil or water I can use?" "There is oil in the cabinet. The servants are supposed to apply it daily." He paused. "They forget." Lily found the oil. It smelled like herbs and earth. She poured some on a clean cloth and gently rubbed it on his scales. He tensed at first, then relaxed. No one had touched him with care in a long time. They handled him like an object, not a person. "Does this hurt?" she asked. "No, it feels good." She worked in silence, treating his scales with the same attention she gave to cleaning floors. When she finished, she washed her hands and returned to her regular tasks. She dusted shelves, swept the floor, and organized medical supplies on a nearby table. Wreath watched her. She moved efficiently but not rushed. She hummed a quiet tune while she worked. It was strange having someone in his room who was not afraid of him. "Lily," he said. She looked up. "Yes." "Do humans ever recover from paralysis?" The question surprised her. She thought carefully before answering. "Sometimes, with help. It takes a long time. Some recover completely. Some recover only a little. Some do not recover at all." "What makes the difference?" "Many things. The type of injury. the treatment, but mostly it depends on if the person keeps trying. He turned his eyes toward the window. I cannot try, I cannot move. Not yet, she said, but maybe someday. She finished cleaning and picked up her bucket. I will come back tomorrow. Is there anything else you need? He wanted to say yes. He wanted to say he needed hope. He needed to feel like a person again. But he only said no. Lily nodded and walked to the door. Before leaving, she turned back. Prince Wreath. What? Thank you for letting me help. I will see you tomorrow. She closed the door behind her. Wreath lay in the silence. For the first time in 6 months, he felt something other than despair. It was small and fragile, but it was there. Hope. Part 2. 3 weeks passed. Lily returned to Wreath's room every day. She always arrived at the same time, just after the morning meal. Unlike the dragon servants who rushed through their duties, Lily talked while she worked. She told him what she was doing and asked his opinion on small things. Should she open both windows or just one? Did he prefer the curtains open or half closed? At first, Wreath barely responded, but gradually he started to answer. Then he started to ask questions. He wanted to know about Earth and human customs. Lily told him stories about her home, her family, and why she had joined the diplomatic mission. One morning, Lily noticed something wrong. The scales on Wreath's left side looked darker than usual. She moved closer and pressed gently. He flinched. That hurts, she asked. Yes, it has hurt for days. Lily frowned. She had read about this in her basic medical training, pressure sores. When someone stayed in one position too long, the skin broke down. For dragons, it damaged their scales. Why did you not tell anyone? She asked. What is the point? I cannot move. This is my life now. Lily shook her head. No, this can be prevented. You need to change positions regularly. She left the room and went straight to the human medical section. Dr. Finn was reviewing patient files when she knocked on his door. He was an older man with gray hair and kind eyes. Doctor, I need information about dragon anatomy, specifically pressure sore prevention. He looked up surprised. Why? Prince Wreath is developing sores. No one is repositioning him. Dr. Finn pulled out several files. Dragon medical staff handle the prince's care. It is not our responsibility. But they are not handling it well. Please, just give me the information. He studied her face, then nodded. Wait here. He returned with diagrams and instructions. Lily spent 2 hours learning about dragon physiology. Their scales were tougher than human skin but could still break down. They needed movement, even if they could not move themselves. The next day, Lily brought a detailed plan to her supervisor. She needed help. Repositioning a dragon required multiple people. Her supervisor was skeptical but agreed to let her try. Lily recruited 4 other human staff members. She taught them how to work together to shift Wreath's weight safely. Every 3 hours, they came to his room. They used special techniques to roll him slightly, adjust his wings, and change the pressure points. The first time was awkward. Wreath tensed with fear. What are you doing? Helping you, Lily said calmly. We need to move you every few hours. It will prevent more sores. Do you trust us? He looked at the 5 small humans surrounding his enormous body. I do not have much choice. Yes, you do. You can tell us to stop any time. He watched them work. They communicated with each other using simple signals. On 3, they lifted together. They were surprisingly strong when they worked as a team. Within minutes, he was in a new position. The pressure on his damaged scales eased immediately. How does that feel? Lily asked. Different, good. Over the following weeks, the pressure sores began to heal. Wreath noticed other changes too. His muscles, though paralyzed, felt less stiff. His breathing improved when they positioned him properly. He slept better. Lily also brought him things to occupy his mind. She found audio recordings of dragon flight simulators. She set up a speaker near his head so he could listen. The sounds of wind and the sensation of flight through sound helped him remember better times. One evening, Queen Soria visited. She had been away on diplomatic business. When she entered her son's room, she stopped in surprise. Wreath's eyes were brighter. His scales looked healthier. The room no longer smelled of sickness. "My son," she said softly, "you look better. The humans have been helping me, especially Lily." The Queen looked at Lily, who was organizing medical supplies in the corner. "What have you done?" Lily bowed respectfully. "We have been preventing pressure damage and keeping him comfortable, Your Majesty. Basic care techniques from Earth. Our doctors said nothing could be done." "With respect, Your Majesty, they were correct that his paralysis cannot be cured quickly, but he can still be cared for properly. Comfort matters." Queen Soria nodded slowly. "I see. Continue your work." After the Queen left, Wreath spoke quietly. "Thank you, Lily. You thank me every day. You do not need to." "Yes, I do. You gave me something I lost, dignity." Lily cleaned in silence for a moment. Then she said, "Can I ask you something?" "Yes." "What was your life like before the attack?" His eyes grew distant. "I was a warrior. I flew patrol routes along the border. I loved the speed and the freedom. I explored new territories. I was good at it." "You can still be good at things." "What things? I cannot move." "You can think, you can speak, you can lead, maybe in a different way than before." He wanted to believe her, but the weight of his useless body made hope feel impossible. 2 days later, Dr. Finn asked to examine Wreath. Lily had requested it. The Dragon medical staff gave permission, curious about human methods. Dr. Finn brought equipment to measure nerve function. He spent an hour running tests while Lily assisted. When he finished, he looked at his readings with surprise. "What is it?" Wreath asked. "There is neural activity in your lower spine, very small but present." "What does that mean?" "It means the toxin did not destroy your nerves completely. They are damaged but not dead." Dr. Finn looked at Lily. "With therapy, there might be a chance for partial recovery." Silence filled the room. Wreath was afraid to hope. He had accepted his fate. Now this human doctor was suggesting something different. "Might," Wreath finally said, "not will, might." "Yes," Dr. Finn admitted. "I cannot promise anything. Recovery would take months, possibly years. It would be painful and frustrating." Lily touched Wreath's shoulder gently. "But it is possible." He closed his eyes. For 6 months, he had wished to die. Now someone was offering him a reason to live. It terrified him more than staying paralyzed. "I need to think," he whispered. "Of course," Dr. Finn said. "Take your time." After they left, Wreath stared at the ceiling. Could he endure more pain, more disappointment? Was a small chance worth the struggle? He did not know, but for the first time he had a choice. Part 3. 2 days after Dr. Finn's examination, the human physician presented his findings to Queen Soria and the Dragon Medical Council. The council chamber was vast, with high ceilings and walls covered in ancient carvings. Lily stood behind Dr. Finn as he explained the proposed therapy program. "Prince Wreath's neural pathways show minimal activity," Dr. Finn said, displaying scan results on a projection screen. "This suggests potential for recovery through consistent stimulation and rehabilitation." The head dragon physician, an elderly female named Vorath, studied the images. "Our medicine focuses on complete healing or acceptance. This gradual approach is foreign to us." "I understand," Dr. Finn replied. "But human medicine has developed techniques for exactly this type of injury. The therapy requires daily work, physical manipulation, electrical stimulation, and progressive exercises. Most importantly, it requires patience." "What are the chances of success?" Queen Soria asked. "Honestly, I do not know. Perhaps 10%, perhaps 50%. Every case is different." Voreth shook her head. Such uncertainty, it could give the prince false hope. Or real hope, Lily said quietly. Everyone turned to look at her. She took a breath and continued. Hope is not false just because success is not guaranteed. The prince has been lying still for 6 months. Even if therapy fails, he will know he tried. That matters. Queen Soria studied the small human. You have grown close to my son. Yes, your majesty, he is a good person. He deserves a chance. The queen turned to Voreth. Allow them to try. I will not force my son to participate, but I will not deny him the opportunity either. After the meeting, Lily went directly to Wreath's room. He was staring out the window at the clouds. She had learned to read his moods. Today he looked lost in thought. The queen approved the therapy program, she said. I know, my mother visited earlier. Will you try it? He was silent for a long moment. Tell me honestly, do you believe it will work? Lily pulled a chair close to his bed and sat down. I do not know if it will work. I know it might work. I also know that doing nothing guarantees nothing changes. I am afraid. Of what? Of failing, of enduring pain for nothing, of disappointing everyone again. Lily leaned forward. Can I tell you about my brother? His name is David. When he was 19, he was in a vehicle accident. The impact crushed his legs. Doctors said he would never walk again. Wreath listened intently. David spent 2 years in therapy. Every day was pain. Some days he could only move his toes a tiny bit. Some days he moved nothing at all. He cried. He yelled. He wanted to quit many times. Did he walk again? Yes, not perfectly. He uses a cane and sometimes a wheelchair on bad days, but he walks. He has a job. He has a life. Most importantly, he has no regrets about trying. What if I am not as strong as your brother? Strength is not about never being afraid. Strength is trying even when you are afraid. Wreath closed his eyes. Images of flying filled his mind. He remembered the feeling of wind beneath his wings. Could he feel that again, even partially? If I do this, he said slowly, I want you there every session. I will be there. Promise me. I promise. He took a deep breath. Then I will try. The therapy began the next morning. Dr. Finn and Lily set up equipment in Wreath's room. They started with electrical stimulation to wake dormant nerves. Small pads were attached to various points along his spine. When the current activated, Wreath's entire body tensed. Does it hurt? Dr. Finn asked. Yes, like fire under my scales. That means the nerves are responding. Can you tolerate it? Wreath gritted his teeth. Continue. The first session lasted 30 minutes. By the end, Wreath was exhausted. Lily wiped his face with a cool cloth while Dr. Finn recorded observations. Nothing moved, Wreath said defeated. Not today, Lily agreed. But your body felt the stimulation. That is progress. Over the following weeks, therapy became routine. Every morning, the same process. Electrical stimulation, physical manipulation of his limbs, attempts to trigger voluntary movement. Nothing changed. Wreath grew frustrated and angry. This is pointless. It has only been 3 weeks, Lily said calmly. 3 weeks of pain for nothing. 3 weeks is not very long for nerve healing. How long then? Months, years. I cannot do this forever. Lily set down her equipment. Do you want to stop? Yes, no, I do not know. He turned his head away from her. Leave me alone. No. He looked at her in shock. What? I said no. I promised I would be here. I do not break promises. You are angry. That is fine. Be angry. But I am not leaving. They stared at each other. Finally, Wreath's anger faded to exhaustion. Why do you care so much? Because you matter. Because giving up is easy. Because someone needs to believe in you even when you do not believe in yourself. Tears formed in his golden eyes. He had not cried since the attack. I am so tired. I know, She touched his face gently. Rest today, we will try again tomorrow. The next day, other humans joined the therapy sessions. A young man named Peter who worked in engineering. A woman named Grace from the kitchen staff. They took turns helping during the physical manipulation exercises. They told jokes to distract Wreath from the pain. They celebrated tiny victories, like when his breathing improved or when he stayed awake through entire sessions. 6 weeks into therapy, during a routine standing frame exercise, something happened. The standing frame was a device that held Wreath upright while humans supported his weight. It helped prevent muscle deterioration. Lily and 3 others were adjusting his position when she noticed something. Did you see that? See what? Peter asked. His tail, it moved. Everyone froze. Wreath's tail lay against the frame. They had not seen it move. Try again, Lily said to Wreath. Try to move your tail. He concentrated. Nothing happened. He tried harder, still nothing. It was probably just a muscle spasm. Dr. Finn said. But Lily knew what she had seen. One more time, please try. Wreath closed his eyes. He imagined his tail moving like it used to. He focused every bit of energy on that single thought. His tail twitched, just a centimeter, but it moved. The room erupted in celebration. Peter laughed. Grace wiped tears from her eyes. Dr. Finn immediately began documenting the movement. Lily stood in front of Wreath so he could see her face. She was smiling wider than he had ever seen. You did it, she whispered. I barely moved it. You moved it, that is everything. For the first time since the attack, Wreath felt something he thought was lost forever. He felt powerful. Part 4. The tail twitch changed everything. Over the next 3 months, Wreath regained partial control of his lower body. His tail movements became stronger. He could flex his back legs slightly. Feeling returned to areas that had been numb for nearly a year. However, his upper body remained paralyzed. His wings stayed motionless. He could not lift his arms or sit up without help. This created a new challenge. He was no longer completely paralyzed, but he was not independent either. The Dragon medical staff created a harness system to move him. It was efficient but impersonal. Mechanical arms lifted him from bed to therapy equipment. Metal straps held him in place during exercises. Wreath hated it. I feel like cargo, he told Lily one morning, like a box being shipped. Lily adjusted his position on the therapy table. The harness keeps you safe. It keeps me trapped. There is a difference. She understood his frustration. Safety was important, but so was dignity. She promised to think of alternatives. 2 weeks later, during a transfer from bed to standing frame, the mechanical harness malfunctioned. A support cable snapped. Wreath began falling sideways. His weight, over 300 kilograms, crashed toward the floor. Lily reacted without thinking. She dove forward and caught his shoulder. Peter grabbed his other side. Grace braced his legs. Together, the 3 humans held Wreath's massive body suspended between bed and floor. Help, Peter shouted. Someone get Dr. Finn. Dragon medical staff rushed in. They quickly stabilized the situation and carefully lowered Wreath back onto the bed. Everyone checked him for injuries. Miraculously, he was unharmed. The humans, however, were shaking. Lily's arms trembled from the strain. Peter sat on the floor, breathing heavily. Grace leaned against the wall. Are you all right? Dr. Finn asked them. We are fine, Lily managed. Is Prince Wreath okay? I am fine, Wreath said quietly, but his voice carried something new. Wonder, you caught me, all of you. You could have been crushed, but you caught me. Lily walked back to his bedside despite her exhausted muscles. Of course we did. You are part of our team. I weigh more than the 3 of you combined. We know, Peter said with a weak laugh. We definitely know now. Why did you risk yourselves? Lily looked confused by the question. Because you needed help. That is what humans do. We help each other. Later that evening, after the room was empty, Reith thought about what happened. The humans had not hesitated. They had not calculated odds or considered their safety. They had simply acted. It was so different from dragon culture, where strength and self-reliance were valued above all else. The next day, Lily arrived with a proposal. The harness system is not working. We need a new method. What do you suggest? Human teamwork, no machines, just coordinated movement and communication. Dr. Finn was skeptical. Too dangerous. What if someone gets hurt? The harness just failed and almost hurt everyone, Lily pointed out. At least with human coordination, we can adjust in real time. We can feel if something is wrong. They spent a week developing the technique. It required perfect timing and trust. 4 humans would position themselves around Reith. On a count of 3, they would lift together, supporting different parts of his body. He would need to relax completely and let them control the movement. The first attempt was clumsy. They lifted unevenly. Reith tensed with fear. They had to set him down and start over. Again, Lily said patiently. Second attempt, better but still awkward. Again. Third attempt. They managed a smooth lift and held him steady for 10 seconds before carefully setting him down. Again. By the end of the week, they could transfer Reith from bed to standing frame in under 30 seconds. The movement was smooth and controlled. More importantly, Reith felt respected. They asked his input. They warned him before each movement. They treated him like a person, not an object. How does this feel? Lily asked after a successful transfer. Dignified, he said simply. This feels dignified. Word of the new technique spread through the palace. Dragon nobles who had avoided Reith began visiting again. They were curious about these humans who worked with such precision. Queen Soria watched a therapy session and was impressed by the coordination. As Reith's confidence grew, so did his public presence. He started attending council meetings again. Humans would transfer him to a specialized chair and he would participate in discussions. His mind was as sharp as ever. His opinions were valued. One afternoon, a message arrived from the Kresh Empire, the rival dragon kingdom responsible for poisoning Reith. They requested his presence at a diplomatic summit to discuss peace terms. Queen Soria refused immediately. Absolutely not. They tried to kill you. I will not send you into their territory. But Reith disagreed. Mother, if I hide, they win. They wanted to eliminate me as a threat. If I appear at the summit, I prove they failed. You are not fully recovered. You need human assistance for everything. Then the humans will come with me. The queen looked at Lily, who stood in the corner of the throne room. You would go into potentially hostile territory. If Prince Reith goes, we go, Lily said firmly. That is not negotiable. The queen considered for a long moment. Finally, she nodded. Very well, but additional security will accompany you. Preparations began immediately. The summit was 3 weeks away. Dr. Finn created a portable therapy setup. Lily organized a schedule to ensure Reith's constant care during travel. Peter and Grace studied the summit location to plan transfer routes. The night before departure, Reith could not sleep. Lily found him staring out his window at the stars. Nervous, she asked. Terrified, what if I fail? What if I embarrass my kingdom? You have already succeeded. You survived, you recovered, you refused to give up. That is not embarrassing, that is inspiring. They will see me being carried by humans. They will think I am weak. Lily moved to stand where he could see her clearly. Let me tell you what they will actually see. They will see a prince who refused to hide in shame. They will see a leader who adapted to new circumstances. They will see someone strong enough to accept help. That is not weakness. That is wisdom. He looked at her small form, this human who had changed his entire life with simple acts of kindness. I could not do this without you. Yes, you could, but you do not have to. That is the point. The next morning, they departed for the summit. The journey would take 3 days. Reith traveled in a specially designed transport pod with windows so he could see outside. Every few hours, they stopped so Lily and the team could reposition him and provide care. On the second night, while resting at a way station, Reith asked Lily a question. When this is over, will you stay, or will you return to Earth? She had not thought about it. Her assignment was supposed to be temporary, but looking at Reith now, seeing how far he had come, she realized something. This was where she belonged. I will stay, she said, as long as you need me. I will always need you. Then I will always be here. They reached the summit location on the third day. The Kresh Empire's palace loomed ahead, dark and imposing. Reith took a deep breath. Ready? Lily asked. No, but we are doing this anyway. She smiled. That is the spirit. Together, they entered the palace, where the real test would begin. Part 5. The summit hall was enormous, filled with representatives from dozens of star systems. Dragon nobles occupied the highest platforms. Alien diplomats clustered in various sections based on their home worlds. At the center sat Lord Vex, ruler of the Kresh Empire. His scales were blood red with black edges. His eyes were cold and calculating. Reith's arrival caused immediate attention. Lily and her team transferred him from the transport chair to a specially designed seat on the main platform. The process took less than a minute, but every eye in the hall watched. Whispers spread through the crowd. Lord Vex stood. Prince Reith, we did not expect you to attend. Clearly, Reith replied, his voice steady and strong. Yet here I am. We heard of your unfortunate accident. We are pleased to see you recovering. Accident, the word hung in the air. Everyone knew it had been an assassination attempt, though proof was difficult to obtain. I am recovering because of excellent care, Reith said, care provided by humans. He gestured to Lily, Peter, Grace, and Dr. Finn, who stood nearby. These individuals saved my life and continue to support me daily. I am honored to have them here. A Kresh noble on the lower platform spoke up. His voice dripped with contempt. How inspiring! The great Prince Reith, now a puppet carried by tiny aliens. Your mother must be so proud. Silence fell across the hall. Several diplomats gasped at the open insult. Lily tensed, ready to defend Reith, but he raised his voice first. You mistake assistance for weakness, Reith said calmly. That explains much about why your empire struggles with alliances. The noble bristled. We do not struggle. We simply do not rely on inferior species to perform basic functions. Reith smiled, though there was no humor in it. Tell me, do you grow your own food, build your own ships, mine your own fuel, or do you rely on others for those basic functions? The noble hesitated. That is different. Those are tasks beneath our status. Exactly. You accept help when it suits your pride. I accept help because it is practical and honest. Which of us is truly stronger? Murmurs of agreement rippled through the non-dragon attendees. Many of them had experienced similar attitudes from dragon kingdoms. Hearing a dragon prince challenge that worldview was remarkable. Lord Vex raised a clawed hand for silence. Prince Reith makes an interesting point. Perhaps we should begin formal discussions rather than trade insults. The summit lasted 3 days. Negotiations were tense but productive. Reith participated fully in every session. When breaks were called, Lily and her team quickly attended to his needs, then returned him to the table before discussions resumed. Their efficiency impressed many observers. On the second evening, a journalist from an interstellar news network requested an interview. Reith agreed, with Lily's presence. The interview was broadcast across multiple star systems. Prince Reith, you have become something of an inspiration to many, the journalist said. What message do you have for others facing similar challenges? Reith thought carefully before answering. I want people to understand that strength has many forms. Physical power is one form, But courage, patience, and the wisdom to accept help are equally strong. I nearly died, not from my injuries but from pride. I believed accepting assistance meant admitting defeat. These humans taught me differently. How so? They showed me that humans survive because they support each other. They are not the fastest species or the strongest, but they work together better than anyone else. They lift each other up, literally and figuratively. That is their power, and now it is mine too. The interview went viral. Messages of support flooded in from across the galaxy. People with disabilities felt seen. Caregivers felt valued. The perception of humanity shifted slightly. They were no longer viewed just as merchants or scientists, but as compassionate allies. On the final day, Lord Vex requested a private meeting with Wreath. Lily insisted on accompanying him. Vex agreed reluctantly. They met in a small chamber. Vex dismissed his own guards, leaving only himself, Wreath, and Lily. "I will be direct," Vex said. "The assassination attempt was approved by my predecessor. He feared your military capabilities and political influence. I did not order it, but I did not prevent it either. For that, I apologize." Wreath studied him carefully. "Why tell me this now?" "Because you have shown more strength in the past 3 days than my entire court has shown in years. You have also shown me what real leadership looks like. I want peace between our kingdoms, but peace requires honesty." "What do you propose?" "A formal treaty, trade agreements, cultural exchanges, and personal restitution for what was done to you." "Restitution?" "The scientists who developed the toxin kept research notes. I have obtained them. They may help human doctors refine your treatment." Lily stepped forward. "May I see them?" Vex handed her a data chip. "Everything is here. Use it however helps." After the meeting, Lily immediately contacted Dr. Finn. He reviewed the research files throughout the night. By morning, he had new ideas for advanced therapy techniques. The summit concluded with signed treaties and renewed diplomatic relationships. As Wreath prepared to depart, several young dragons approached him. They were students who had watched the proceedings. "Prince Wreath," one of them said shyly, "we wanted to thank you. You showed us that needing help is not shameful. My sister was injured last year. She has been hiding because she thought she was a burden. Your example might help her." Wreath felt emotion well up. "Tell your sister that she is not alone, and that asking for help is one of the bravest things anyone can do." The journey home was exhausting. On the second night, while resting, Wreath suddenly felt dizzy. His vision blurred. He tried to speak, but the words would not come. "Something is wrong," Lily said immediately. She called for Dr. Finn. The doctor examined him quickly. "His body is shutting down from stress. He pushed himself too hard." They worked frantically to stabilize him. Medications, oxygen, position changes. After 2 hours, Wreath's condition improved, but the message was clear. He had overtaxed himself. "I am sorry," he whispered to Lily. "I thought I could handle it." "You did handle it, you just need rest now. That is okay." They returned to Drakenheim, where Wreath spent a week recovering. Queen Soria was both angry and proud. Angry that her son had risked his health, proud of what he had accomplished. 6 months after the summit, Wreath's recovery accelerated dramatically. Using the new research from Vex, Dr. Finn developed enhanced treatment protocols. Wreath regained partial use of his arms. He could sit upright without support. Most remarkably, he could stand for short periods using a walker. During a public ceremony celebrating the 1-year anniversary of his recovery beginning, Wreath stood at the podium. Lily and his team stood nearby, ready to assist if needed. "My people," he began, "I stand before you today because of human compassion and innovation. But more than that, I stand here because I learned a vital lesson. We dragons pride ourselves on strength and independence, but true strength includes knowing when to accept help. True independence includes the wisdom to build interdependence." The crowd erupted in applause. Wreath looked at Lily and smiled. She smiled back, tears in her eyes. He had not just survived, he had transformed, and so had the understanding between their species. Part 6. 1 year after the summit, the royal palace hosted a celebration. The occasion marked the official opening of the Interspecies Healthcare Center, a joint project between humans and dragons. The building was specifically designed to be accessible for beings of all sizes and abilities. Lily stood in the main hall, watching workers put finishing touches on displays. She wore formal diplomatic attire now. Her official title was Director of Interspecies Healthcare, but she still preferred spending time with patients rather than sitting in offices. Still checking every detail, a familiar voice asked. She turned to see Wreath approaching. He moved slowly, using a specialized walking frame. His steps were careful but steady. 2 human assistants walked beside him, ready to help if needed. But today, he wanted to walk on his own. "Old habits," Lily said with a smile. "How are you feeling?" Nervous, excited, tired. He reached the nearest bench and sat down gratefully. 3 emotions at once, very human of me. She laughed and sat beside him. Over the past year, their friendship had deepened. They worked together daily, planning rehabilitation programs and training new staff. Their partnership had become legendary across multiple worlds. "Do you remember the first day we met?" she asked. "I was angry at the world. You asked if I wanted my wing adjusted. You said I could not move it because I was too small. I was wrong about many things." He looked at her seriously. "You changed my life, Lily. You know that, right? We changed each other's lives. I learned as much from you as you did from me." Peter and Grace joined them, both wearing formal uniforms. They had been promoted to senior rehabilitation specialists. Behind them came Dr. Finn, now head of the Medical Partnership Program. "Everyone is arriving," Peter said. "We should get to the ceremony platform." They moved together through the halls. Lily walked beside Wreath, matching his pace. Security personnel and diplomats nodded respectfully as they passed. The former paralyzed prince was now one of the most respected figures in the kingdom. The ceremony platform overlooked a courtyard filled with hundreds of attendees. Dragons, humans, and dozens of other species gathered to witness the center's opening. Queen Soria sat on the royal throne, watching her son with visible pride. Wreath approached the speaking podium. Lily helped him position himself comfortably. Then she stepped back to join the other humans. "Citizens of Drakenheim, honored guests," Wreath began. His voice was strong and clear. "1 year ago I could not move. Today I walk. This transformation did not happen through dragon medicine alone. It happened because humans brought us something we had forgotten. They brought us hope." He paused, gathering his thoughts. "When I was first injured, I believed my life was over. I thought strength meant never needing help. I thought independence meant suffering alone. These humans taught me I was wrong. They showed me that real strength is continuing when things are difficult. Real independence is building connections with others." The crowd listened intently. This center represents more than medical collaboration. It represents a new understanding. No species has all the answers, but together we can solve problems that seem impossible alone. Today, we open this building not just for the injured or sick, but for anyone who needs support, guidance, or simply someone who cares. He gestured to Lily and her team. "These humans lifted me when I could not lift myself. They carried me when I could not walk. They believed in me when I had stopped believing in myself. I will spend the rest of my life ensuring others receive the same compassion." Applause thundered across the courtyard. Lily wiped tears from her eyes. Dr. Finn squeezed her shoulder proudly. Peter and Grace grinned widely. After the ceremony, Wreath demonstrated the center's features to visitors. Therapy rooms equipped for different species. Training areas where caregivers learned proper techniques. research laboratories where human and dragon scientists worked side by side. One room contained a surprise. It was Wreath's original bedroom from when he was first paralyzed, preserved exactly as it had been. A plaque on the wall read, "Where recovery began." "Why keep this?" a young dragon visitor asked. "Because remembering where we started helps us appreciate how far we have come," Wreath explained. "And because others will lie in similar rooms someday, I want them to know that recovery is possible." Later that evening, after most guests had left, Wreath and Lily returned to the palace balcony. It had become their favorite spot for quiet conversations. The sun was setting, painting the sky in shades of purple and gold. Dragon riders practiced formations in the distance. Their wings caught the fading light as they soared through the air. Wreath watched them silently. "Do you miss flying?" Lily asked softly. "Every day. I probably always will." "I am sorry." "Do not be." "Yes, I miss what I lost. But I found something I never had before. Purpose beyond military service. Connection beyond my own pride. Understanding that life has value even when it changes in ways we did not choose." He turned to look at her. "You gave me that, Lily. Not by fixing my body, though that was remarkable. You gave it to me by seeing me as a person when I could not see it myself. You did the hard work. I just walked beside you. That is what made all the difference." They stood in comfortable silence for a while. Then Wreath spoke again. "The council wants to make you an official member of the royal family, an honorary sister. What do you think?" Lily was shocked. "That is a tremendous honor, but I am just a maid." "You were never just a maid. You are a healer, a teacher, a friend, a sister. Will you accept?" She thought about Earth, her family there, her old life. Then she thought about this place, these people, this work that filled her with meaning. The decision was easy. "Yes, I accept." Wreath smiled, genuine joy lighting his face. "Good, because we have much work to do." "Oh." "The center is just the beginning. I want to establish rehabilitation facilities on 12 planets within 2 years. I want to train 1,000 specialists. I want to change how the entire galaxy thinks about disability and care." Lily laughed. "That is ambitious." "I learned from the best." Over the following months, their plans expanded. Rehabilitation centers opened on 3 planets. Training programs enrolled hundreds of students. Research collaborations produced breakthrough treatments. The model of human-dragon cooperation spread to other fields: engineering, agriculture, education. One afternoon, while reviewing facility plans, Wreath's hand cramped. It happened sometimes, a reminder that his recovery was not complete. Lily massaged the cramped muscles until they relaxed. "Thank you," he said quietly. "Always." "Lily, do you ever regret staying? You could have returned to Earth, had a normal life." She looked at him seriously. "This is my normal life now. This is where I belong." "Even with all the challenges." "Especially with the challenges. They matter, you matter, this work matters." A messenger arrived with news. A mining accident on a distant colony had left several workers paralyzed. They were requesting assistance from the Interspecies Healthcare Center. Wreath looked at Lily. "Should we go?" "Absolutely." They gathered their team, packed equipment, and departed within hours. The journey took 3 days. When they arrived, the injured workers were scared and hopeless. Lily recognized that look. She had seen it in Wreath's eyes months ago. She knelt beside the first worker, a young alien with 4 arms. "My name is Lily. This is Prince Wreath. We are here to help." The worker looked at the Dragon Prince in surprise. "You understand?" "Yes," Wreath said gently. "I understand completely, and I promise you this. Recovery is possible, not easy, not guaranteed, but possible. We will walk this path with you." Lily began assessments while Wreath talked with each patient. His presence gave them hope. If a Dragon Prince could recover, maybe they could too. That night, after setting up temporary therapy equipment, Lily found Wreath sitting outside, looking at the stars. "Thinking about something?" she asked. "About how strange life is. A year ago I wanted to die. Now I am helping others want to live." "You found your purpose." "We found our purpose," he corrected. "None of this happens without you." She sat beside him. "None of this happens without both of us. That is the point. Humans do not have wings. Dragons have wings but cannot fly alone through life's difficulties. Together, though, we can do remarkable things." Wreath extended his arm and she took his clawed hand carefully. They sat in comfortable silence, watching the stars. The journey had been long and difficult. There would be more challenges ahead. But they faced them together, lifting each other whenever needed, proving that the greatest strength was not in standing alone, but in standing beside someone who needed you, and in being brave enough to need them in return.